In the land of the free and the home of the brave, war is coming, Putin's on the stage. Conflict and bloodshed, a world in disarray. The drums of war are beating night and day. The ghosts of Crimea still linger in the air, as Usher's might is flexed without a care. The annexation's bitter taste still fresh and raw. The West warnings fall on deaf ears as Putin draws his law. The tanks rolling, the guns blaze and roar. The people suffer as their future's torn. The world holds its breath as the conflicts wage. A new Cold War's brewing and the stakes are engaged. The language of diplomacy is lost as insults fly. The world trembles as the war drums beat and the soldiers die. The innocents cry, the mothers weep and mourn, as Putin's ambition leaves a trail of blood that's born. Trump's tariffs and trade wars, a famine in sight. Economic hardship, a global plight. The scales of justice unbalanced and worn. A cry for help as the people are torn. The markets tremble as the tariffs rise. A trade war's chaos as the world denies. The impacts felt from the farms to the floor, as America's allies become its foes once more. The rhetoric's heated as the tweets ignite. A global economy on the brink of fight. The WTO's rules are cast aside with disdain, as Trump's protectionism leaves the world in pain. The farmers suffer as their crops rot in the ground. The consumers pay as prices rise all around. The global economy on the edge of a cliff, as Trump's policies leave the world in a rift. X's pandemic, a global health scare. Mass and lockdowns, people everywhere. The virus spreads, a pestilence so dire. A world in lockdown, a future unsure. The markets crash as the virus spreads fast. A global panic as the death tolls amassed. The WHO's warnings are renewed at first, as China's secrecy leaves the world in the dark and cursed. The lockdowns and quarantines, a new normal's born, as the world's economies are brought to their knees in scorn. The people suffer as their freedoms are curtailed. The virus knows no borders as it spreads unchecked and unveiled. The world is united as X's leadership is put on trial each day. The pandemic's impact will be felt for years to come, as the world struggles to find a way to overcome Netanyahu's policies, a death toll so high. Gaza's cries, a humanitarian sigh. The world watches as lives are lost. A call for peace, but the violence cost. The Gaza Strip, a tiny land so warm. A people trapped with no way to be reborn. The blockade stranglehold, a slow and painful death, as the world condemns the settlement's cruel breath. The rockets fly, the iron dome's might can't stop the bloodshed as the people take flight. The cycle of violence seems endless and cold. As the death toll rises, the world's hearts grow old. The two-state solution, a distant dream, as the settlements expand and a Palestinian scream. The world demands justice, but the cries fall on deaf ears, as Netanyahu's policies bring only tears and fears.
Well, all right. Once again, putting it down for you and yours. This is another episode of The Lion's Den. The segment titled The Conversation Continues, talking about what's on your mind. And we are your hosts. We have always in the helm, making sure all things are tight and orderly, making sure all information is searched out, confirmed, okay, once, twice, 7 times over. We have the seventh answer, Lady Karima. And then you have myself, your brother, your friend, and your servant, Brother Malakaya, a.k.a. Dark Storm, also known as Big Baby Hebrew. And we give an honor to the Lord in Christ, from whom all positive thoughts flow. And we want to thank you out there in Lion's Den land for rocking with us, tuning in, and everything else. Some of you may have to go to work tomorrow, or some of you may be at work and you sneak listening, which is a good thing still, rocking with us, because you know that from city to city and state to state, without no foul up, bleep, bloops, or blunders, the Lion's Den is forever working miracles and wonders. Miracles and wonders. And as always, you know we come with the formula that makes this machine so mighty and powerful. The 7 I's. And that is intelligence, that's integrity, inspiration, influence, independence, insight, and stone cold bona fide verifiable information. And when you roll with the pride, you know also that you rolling with those who are permanently ready in destroying evil, starting with our own. And you know that, of course, we are one of the many factions of the anti-coon movement. And what's a coon? C-O-N-N? That is a complete, obvious, obedient, yes, a boss nigga. We don't do house niggering. Yes, about, we don't do that here. Nah. No. Negative. And this is also the home of point counterpoint. Let's say we may not always see an eye on certain issues. We can have a little healthy debate, point counterpoint, and it's all done in love to what? Bring each other, lift each other up. And if there's certain details that I miss, I have the seventh answer to put me back on the right train, the right track, so that way I don't get derailed. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You know, because it's not about ego here. All right? It's about what's right. It's about if someone had a talent and the ability to make the machine even better. No, don't be jealous. It's not about competing. Appreciate that talent and make it your own. And also, here in the Lion's Den, you're also in the home of truthality listenership. Okay? And we come in the spirit of Isaiah, the 41st chapter, biblically, verses 21 through 24. We're going to produce our cause, bring forth our strong evidence, and we go hard in the paint. Also, bear in mind, we come in the spirit of 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, verse 21, which tells us to be ready, willing, and able at all times to prove all things. And what things are we going to prove? The facts. That's FACTS. We bring nothing but frequently accurate, correct truths. That's all we do. Nothing but the facts. And you're being hit with Virgo energy unapologetically. That's right, Virgo energy. We're analytical, critical, political, typical, but we always strive never to be hypocritical. And you know what? Some people, I got told earlier on in a discussion I had that I'm fanatical. Now, there's some truth to that. When I'm right on an issue and it's infallible, and I know someone's being recalcitrant, which is a fancy way of saying stupid, yeah, you're right. I am fanatical. And I'll say this here. Our only weakness here in the Lion's Den, as diplomatic as we are, we hate stupidity. Okay? That's the only thing we don't tolerate here. And that's a good thing. And on that note, if you out there in Lion's Den land, as you come in listening, if you can't handle truthality, if you can't handle the facts that we bring, and you like being stupid, the seventh answer and myself, we want to issue our deepest sympathies and empathies to you, because we not going to compromise for nobody. So you are free to leave if you have an allergic reaction to truthality, to the facts, and you like being stupid. It's just that simple. And last but not least, when you come into the Lion's Den, you will follow the rules set forth by our beautiful sister, I am manner. You will wipe your feet. You will mind your manners. You will conduct yourself in an orderly manner and enjoy yourself. Because at any given time, you come in here and you're out of line, well, the lioness, the seventh answer, she will swoop down. And you know how it go. She gonna break you down with the quickness, work you out like physical fitness, hit you with so many cyber, get up out of here so fast, not even a Jehovah will witness. And now straight, there you go. There you go. Knock you straight on out. Oh yeah. And let me just say this to two of my favorite recording artists. Uh, you know, Naughty by Nature frontman Tretch and Salt and Pepper into Pepper. Okay, y'all have my deepest sympathies as I watch your baby get knocked out. Oh my God, yo. Okay, that's just a little side note. I'm not laughing at her calamity, but baby girl, you need to find a new career. It's just that simple. If you didn't, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, look up the fight. If you want to call it a fight, because I don't know why they put that woman in there with no world champion. Overmatched. Okay, challenging Krishan Rock is one thing, but going up against a world, okay, like I said, just look it up. Tretch and Pepper's daughter get knocked out. Just so. All right, so let's get into this, okay? And speaking of knocked out, right?
Said when you have a husband who's a troll, then you deal with this type of stuff. He don't agree with that. He felt like her husband is a troll, and he do things for entertainment, and he will use his own family.
Oh, really? Okay, now see,
Fred
here we
ain't
go.
happy with none of that, and he said he will be dealt with.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay. See, we gonna talk later. You bringing in some factors I don't know nothing about. That what makes you so amazing, Seventh Answer. So, with that being said, speaking of knocked out, right now we had a Senate race out in Texas, and Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett versus James Tallarico. And unfortunately, and I'm going to say unfortunately, Jasmine Crockett lost. The more qualified, the more worthy candidate. I know some of you out there, listen, in this particular discussion, we are bioptical. Okay, bi means two, being able to see things in two different ways. Okay, bioptical. My thing is, there's some of you out there, some of you so-called, black voices, talk show hosts, you name it, and just regular people as a whole. Some of you are saying some things about Jasmine Crockett that got me feeling some kind of way. Got the Seventh Answer, we feeling some kind of way about that. Okay? Has she been a bit of a huckster from time to time? Sure. Does she have some chinks in her armor? Yes, she does. But when I'm hearing black voices out here, male and female, but some of you guys, man, yo, I'm not here to simp, but I'm just gonna say, yo, I got a problem with this. All this, well, she's ghetto. Oh, she lost because of her weave and her hair. What? Huh? Oh well, she's so ghetto and she's pandering. She was out here pandering and talking all ghetto and she's usually non-intelligent and sassy. Okay, we here in the Lion's Den, as I said, we're bioptical. We hear and we listen to other voices and opinions. All right, and when we see where you're lacking, our job and our responsibility is to go out here and get the facts and bring them here and show you where you are wrong. I'm going to say wrong in this instance. Some of y'all giving Miss Crockett a very bad rap, and I don't like it. Straight up. Especially all the that the usually racist anti-black woman tropes that are put out there. I guess some of you, and if this shoe fits your foot, don't wear it, take it off. But I guess some of you have never seen the videos, the presentations that Miss Crockett is giving, when she's articulate, on point, and making it happen. And if you haven't seen those videos, well, guess what? The Seventh Answer Lady Karima, oh man, she got on her job, and we got them. And we're going to show them to you. Now, yes. Do I have a problem? Do I have a problem with the Democratic Party? Yes, I do. Do I have a problem with the fact that they don't have a black agenda? Yes, I do. If I had a chance to talk with Miss Jasmine Crockett on a personal level, and I said, sis, maybe you'll up your game in the area of what we need, black interest, I would talk to her about that. But all this, oh, she lost because, she's ghetto. What among the black voices out there, come on, what are y'all doing? Are you serious right now? Huh? Have y'all missed the fact that despite the chinks in her armor, the number one thing that had Jasmine Crockett in the crosshairs from a congressional and senatorial standpoint is she been on the DJT, Donald J. Trump, and all the pedos, okay, all the Epstein listers, she's been on their behinds, hardcore from the door, uncompromising, unflinching, and bringing her facts. bringing her configurations, making her extremely dangerous. Did y'all miss that part? Did you miss that part? I guess you did. I guess you did. Huh? Did you miss the part about Miriam Adelson, billionaire Miriam Adelson, if I'm saying her name correctly? The same woman who financed Donald J. Trump put $25 million of her money behind James Tallarico. Okay? And who? And Miriam Adelson, where's her loyalty lies? In Israel. That's right. Benjamin Netanyahu and all that. She down with that bunch. Did you miss that part? So we've seen where Miss Crockett has been very vociferous, spoken like a true champion, and put a lot of people in check that need to be checked. She wasn't ghettoed in, now was she? She wasn't called out of her name then. Her wearing weaves or whatever, her weaves or her style didn't matter then. Now did it? See, to all my black voices out there, and you know who you are, and I won't mention no names, but you know who you are. But we're going to run a couple of videos here tonight, you know, on some of those who gave their opinion on why Miss Crockett lost. I'm going to break them down. We're going to run them first, depending on how time permits. We're going to run them out first, and then I'm going to come behind and criticize. Then I'm going to get at the Democratic Party. Because one thing that's pissing me off, too, most notably, is how there's some of you out there trying to hit us in the head with well, the black voters didn't come out. What the hell are you talking about? She got a lot of black votes, but the main reason she lost is because she was targeted. See, this was a certain factor that the seventh answer put in my ear. As I was negligent in that particular area of not paying attention, because I was focused on another area. But she was on their behinds. She wasn't just getting at Donald Trump for the sake of getting at Donald Trump. Hold on. Donald Trump and others out there were on her bumper. So wait, they supposed to be able to talk about her and she not supposed to respond? What, are you kidding me? How come no one's talking about, if y'all want to talk about the black vote, right? How come no one's talking about the number one black vote, that if she got it, if Miss Crockett had been given this particular number one black vote, the number one black voter in the world, but let's just keep it here in the United States, the number one black vote in the United States that would have got her over. It was only mentioned one time, but see, we're going to mention it all the time. And I'm going to help y'all. How come Barack Hussein Obama, you know, the black president, who never, ever endorses any black candidate at any time, did not get behind her? He got behind James Tallarico. How come that ain't being talked about? It was only mentioned one time. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody went hush hush. But he always does that. Don't forget, and I have my little differences here and there with Kamala Harris, but the seventh answer did correct me and put me up on certain things that I didn't know in my ignorance. But let's not forget, he didn't want to back her. And she's a fellow Democrat. So what if he felt that she might not win the race? But how about this? If you got behind her, if he'd have got behind her, that might have put some impetus there, because there's some of y'all still drinking the Barack Obama Kool-Aid. But here, the Barack Obama didn't want to get behind Jasmine Crockett like he do every black politician that's ever had his back. And we're gonna talk about that in this presentation too. Some of y'all, oh well, what really killed her also was that she had Cardi B endorse her. You know what? You can say what you want about recording all this Cardi B, but here it is. This Dominican woman. All right, if you want to go there. This particular Dominican woman, this particular non-black woman, if you want to go that route, at least she endorsed her. Meanwhile, Barack Obama, as always, because as far as I'm concerned, he's a black white man, straight up, didn't endorse her. And that would have been the #1 black vote that could have got her over. But nah. Now I wonder why. I wonder, could it be because, again, she's putting even Democrats who are on that Epstein list, putting them on blast? Yeah, that's right. And I know you had the non-Hispanics, the Hispanics, they didn't want to vote for her. And white people, forget about it, the white. But my point is, Jasmine Crockett actually lost because, again, she was a danger. She was a danger to all those out there who's on that Epstein list. Listen, look, let's not forget that she got her district when she was in Texas was taken from her. I think she was over the 30th district in Texas, but yeah, Gregory Abbott pull a trick bag. Gregory Abbott, who I believe is a Republican, and other Democrats out there in the state of Texas pulled a trick bag and not only hit Jasmine Crockett, they also hit a white congressman by the name of James Kucinich. You may not be familiar with his politics and who he is. All right, at a later date and time, when it's relevant, I'll bring him up. But my point is, she wasn't the only one that got her district gerrymandered, a fancy word for taken, stolen. All right, so yeah, she's been on the target hit list. And also, there are now reports coming out, allegedly, and I'll use the word allegedly, that some cheating may have been going on. Now, I know full well some of you out there are not going to say, see, here they go with the conspiracy theories. They're reaching. There's no cheating here in America. Nigga, sorry. Sorry. Are you kidding me? If you're thinking like that, then okay, you need to stop listening to this show right here, right now, if you don't think they didn't cheat. Huh? If I would have been in Miss Crockett's corner, I would have had her make a point. Explain why the same woman that gave in his case, billions to Donald J. Trump, pumped 25 million into a Democratic candidate. She's Republican. Why did she put $25 million of her money against James Tallarico to win? Or could it be because James Tallarico was the same dude? Okay, I know some of y'all may not be familiar with politics and those who are out there. I know a little bit about him, but he's that dude that, the saying, goes along to get along, says just enough to win, or says just enough to get what he wants. He's that kind of person. All right? And he's white. Oh yeah, he white. So we're not going to pretend that after Barack Obama in particular, who benefited profusely from black voters, who were one-time Democrats and have walked away. Oh, you know, this country at this time don't want to see black politicos, male or female, in any position at this point in juncture with the flaming white supremacist doctrine that is now being pushed more and trying to be reinstituted throughout these 50 states. We're not going to pretend that we don't see that here. So I got a problem with all this ghetto troping and talking about this woman like she's some idiot. Jasmine Crockett is very intelligent. You know, she did have her own law firm before she went into politics. She was very successful too. She's academically accomplished. Oh no, well, hey, there are plenty of people with the degrees and they're educated fools. Oh boy. Stop. Just stop, please. Stop. Again, she has chinks in her armor. But I'm going to say this here. We're only human. It's an old song by an 80s group, Human League. I'm only human. Of flesh and blood I'm made. I'm only human, born to make mistakes. We all have our chinks. Okay? So now, here what we're going to do. We're going to get the ball rolling. We're going to get some videos rolling and everything else. But I want to set the stage. And what we're going to do, we're going to run all the videos that apparently some of you black talk show hosts, some of you black voices out there, I'm disappointed in you. You didn't seek these videos out. We're going to show you how intelligent Jasmine Crockett is when she's not huckstering, because we've all done a little huckstering. I do it here on the show from time to time. Okay? But we're going to show you what the mainstream media and some of you black, as Seventh Answer calls you, mockingbirds, because now you copying all these so-called mainstream media outlets, calling this woman out of her name and berating her. And some of you black men, some of you brothers, man, are you jealous of her or something? That part burns me up too. So we're going to get the ball rolling. I see Seventh Answer got a video queued up. And you are now tuning to the Lions Den. We're talking about Jasmine Crockett, voter suppression, and all things suspect. Seventh Answer, take it away. Fair use, y'all. Fair use.
Okay, so this video is regarding how she admired him, and how I'm gonna show after that how he felt about her. And
now you say him who?
Obama.
Oh, thank you. Please do. Let's go to work.
But some people are able to inspire others as they walk their own path. As a 27-year-old public defender walking in her path, there was someone who came along and inspired me. There was this charismatic, funny, intelligent, and exciting young candidate with a funny name who just got into the U.S. Senate and was running for president. Many doubted if this country was ready. How many no's do you think he heard before he got a yes? No, you can't win. No, the country's not ready for a black president. No, a black man can't get elected. No, your middle name is Hussein. No, you can't beat the Clinton machine. But every time they told him no, he looked them right in the eyes and he told them yes. He said, yes, we can. Yes, we can deliver on health care. Yes, we can enshrine equal rights. Yes, we can bring jobs back to America, create opportunities for all. And yes, we can save the economy after a Republican president sends it into the gutter. People ran lies, rumors, and tried to poke holes in everything about Obama, from his faith to his heritage. Falsehoods about his daddy, mistruths about his mama. There was even a question about his birth certificate. But he didn't let any of that get in his way. He worked and worked and worked. to inspire and instill a sense of hope. Man, do I remember. I remember hoping. I don't know if I really believed. But I knew that we had to try. I knew that we had the power. He turned those no, you can't into yes, we can. Yes, we deserve better. Yes, we will dig deep. Yes, we can.
The times we were told that we can't, and the people who pressed on with that American creed, yes, we can.
Now, beautifully well spoken, articulate, direct. She laid out beautiful talking points that at the time, even I believed and was caught up in. I can admit it. I can admit that. All right, but listen to how she described the man. Nothing but good things to say about him. Now here we go. Barack Obama. And let's take a gander at what he says about Miss Crockett. Let's go to work.
Rep James Tirico, who was on there a while back
Yeah.
out of Texas.
Oh, that guy's good, right?
He's terrific. Really talented young man. And it does require a certain confidence in your actual convictions to debate and have a conversation with somebody who disagrees with you on a whole bunch of stuff.
What
And
makes him so good, though? Because there is something grounded about him that you had it too.
I you know what? So in our foundation, a lot of the work that I do is working with young civic leaders, political leaders, journalists, human rights lawyers, not just here in the United States, but around the world. And one of the first things I say to them is, know what you really believe.
Right.
I think a guy like him, his starting point is, let me say what I believe. I think now more than ever, what people long for, and the word authenticity gets overused, I think. What people long for is some core integrity that seems absent. Just a sense that, the person seems to walk the walk, doesn't just talk the talk.
It is disingenuous and cowardice to blame Republicans for Jasmine Crockett's loss when her very own idol Obama endorsed her opponent, extreme pro-LGBTQ candidate James Tallarico. He's talking about Jasmine when he says, people want core integrity that seems absent.
What makes him so good, though? Because there is something grounded about him that you had it too.
I you know what? So in our foundation, a lot of the work that I do is working with young civic leaders, political leaders, journalists, human rights lawyers, not just here in the United States, but around the world. And one of the first things I say to them is, know what you really believe.
Right.
I think a guy like him, his starting point is, let me say what I believe. I think now more than ever, what people long for, and the word authenticity gets overused, I think. What people long for is some core integrity that seems absent. Just a sense that, the person seems to walk the walk, doesn't just talk. There's this young state rep, James Tirico, who was.
Hold on. And now take a look.
Help me make this make sense.
Listen.
Last year, I saw Obama
Go.
chastise black men, saying, "Y'all not supporting this Indian woman." Remember Kamala, who wasn't black, is not black. Is not. Okay, she's Hindu, she's Indian. But I watched Obama sit there and chastise black men, saying, y'all don't want to support this woman. But at the same time, turn around, go to Virginia, and campaign against a real natural black woman. Y'all listen, this let me know one thing. This ain't got nothing to do with color. This ain't got nothing to do with color. It's either God's side or Satan's side. God's side or Satan's side.
Okay, stop, Kareem. Stop for a second. Hold on.
Why go
Hold
any
on.
further?
Hold on. Nah. See, now this is where homegirl loses me. It is about color. We're not gonna do that here. We are not gonna sit up here and play that game. Every time you looked up, Barack Obama never supports not one black candidate. Not one. Okay? And he didn't chastise black men for not getting behind Kamala Harris. He was getting on black men about not getting behind voting blue no matter who. I want to correct that too. But it is about color. It's about color all the freaking time. The first clip we just showed you, notice how he didn't even call Miss Crockett by name. But he dogged her, talking about she lacks authenticity. Calling her fake. Calling the ghetto, thinking that those of us out here, we're too dumb to understand what he's saying. But this is what this punk does, man. He always, in ghetto terms, and I'm gonna just say this one time, and you him, and I won't do it again. He would be calling here in the streets, on the streets, a sucker ass nigga. Straight up. We'll be all behind him back. You know that one person, ladies and gents, that one guy, one girl, they want you to back them and you back them and you there for them. But in your time and when it's your turn to be pushed and endorsed, they don't want to get behind you and the hate is real. That's what he is, man. And he's been that way with every black candidate. I can remember when in New York, he went to New York to tell then governor of New York, David Patterson, to stand down. Don't seek another term. So former Governor Andrew Cuomo could run unopposed. This is what Barack Obama did. And he went to several other states telling black candidates to stand down so that white candidates could take the mantle. This is what he does. He was practically kissing James Tallarico's butt. But yet he gonna berate Jasmine Crockett, and she gave him and extolled him to the clouds, which is what he always does. It is about color every time. And yet, here you got some of you out there that want to get at Cardi B and dog her for she can't win. She can't win either, apparently. When she's trying to turn the corner, maybe pick herself up, upgrade and do better, you're coming at her. Well, that will kill Jasmine Crockett. Cardi B. But hold up, though. At least she endorsed her. This non-black woman, this Hispanic woman, endorsed her. But Barack Obama dogged her. And yet Jasmine Crockett extolled that man to the clouds. Okay. My attitude, some of you might say, oh, what? So because she's black, she's not supposed to be criticized? Now, how about this? This is my take on it. Like the old adage goes, if you don't have anything nice to say about a person, then shut up. Don't say anything at all. Keep your mouth closed. That works wonderfully. Don't you think? Or if you're going to say something about a person in such a disparaging remark, be able to say it to their face. But come on, man. All my black voices out there. I know you're listening to this show. And if you might want to come in on the panel and get on the conversation, you're more than welcome to do so. All right. If you want to do a point, counterpoint, whatever. But right now, there is no point, counterpoint. It's the point we're making and what we're establishing here. Yo, some of y'all are dead freaking wrong. Now, Kareem, I know you had another video that you want to run. I just had to stop that particular video because the woman, the sister, she kind of like was, straddling the fence. It's not about color. Yes, it is. Barack Obama has never, and if I'm wrong, just show me just one black candidate that he's gotten behind, genuinely. Show me. You heard it for yourself. James Tallarico, he's talented, he's young, he's this, he's that, wow. Damn. What I want to say, I know I can't say, and we have to keep it scholarly here. Some of you may have your children listening, but good grief. But he didn't mention he didn't even give her the respect to mention her by name. And she's a fellow Democrat and was behind him 1,000% during his first and second tour as president of these United States. That's the thing she get. Just like he gave all Black America his butt to kiss, which is what the Democrats do. But my point is, in this instance, I got a problem with some of you out there with the tropes. Oh, she's ghetto. She, well, look who she had endorsing her. At least Cardi B endorsed her. Huh? I'm just saying. Meanwhile, a Caribbean black woman, who she endorsed? Donald Trump, her hero. Y'all know who I'm talking about. It sounds like icky Pashaj, but I'm just saying. Oh, but weave. What? Really? Come on now. So now, what we're doing tonight is showing bioptically what's a lot of you black voices out there. And like I said, I am gravely disappointed in you. We're showing you the other aspect of Miss Crockett. Yes, do I have a problem with the fact that she was backing the whole illegal immigrant thing? Yeah, I got a problem with that. Yeah. Did I have a problem with her pandering a little too much to certain people who didn't have her back? Yeah, I did. Sure. But everyone has their chinks in their armor. But don't let the chinks in the armor make you miss that the entire makeup of her armor was impenetrable. It had, and still has certain people scared. And that's why she was blocked. If she didn't have anything else right, she sure had the pedos, the Epstein participants, and others scared out of their minds. Let's not forget that now. So now, let's run the videotape. Like I said, what we do here on The Conversation Continues, the Lion's Den, we hunt. And then we prey on the weak, the liars, the kooks, and the charlatans who perpetrate a fraud. And we, here in the Lion's Den, rip the shreds, all skunks and traitors who don't know how to conduct themselves in the area of getting on code. Run this videotape, Karima.
Her gender or her race. Is about the policy.
Part of it makes me think that
Hey, listen up. It's not about Kamala's her gender or her race. It's about the policy.
part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
No, it's not misogyny. And for him to come from Martha's Vineyard, it just shows that he really does not know what he's talking about.
He's becoming an elitist. He can't relate to black men. So he had no message to black men.
I think it's very insulting because we all have our own mind. You know, I'm a free thinker. You know, it's not that I vote because she's a woman. It was her policies I didn't support.
It just goes to show the disconnect between the Democrat elite and the actual people.
We have a former president who is having to answer to charges brought by prosecutors, does uphold the basic notion that nobody's above the law. The allegations will now be sorted out through a court process.
You know what I would do if I were president, Mr. President? I would make same-sex divorce illegal, then see how bad they want it.
I think that's why you're not president. And that's a good thing.
You said if you had a son, you would not let him play football. What makes you think that he would want to play football? What if he was a nerd like you?
Do you think a woman like Michelle would marry a nerd? Why don't you ask her whether she thinks I'm a nerd?
Could I?
No, I'm not going to let her near you.
So do you go to any websites that are .coms or .nets, or do you mainly just stick with .govs?
No, actually, we.
You know what? Hold on. I wanted to say this here.
Let's get this out of the way. What did you come here to plug?
Let me know when you call. Yeah. Now, come on. We're gonna call Barack Obama ghetto. Here he is being a huckster. All right. Here he is. With, you know, I forget this guy's name. Okay, but look at him having a ball, and this is so funny. But is he gonna be called ghetto? Is he gonna be called all the tropes that black men get hit with? Is he gonna be accused of chimping out? I'm just saying. Run the video, Karima.
Matt? It was a good reminder that it turns out that the American people are paying attention. They don't want cruelty. They're not looking for people on the top trying to entrench themselves in power. They believe in community. They believe in treating people with decency and respect. And what this election also taught us is that it turns out it turns out that if, number one, you have candidates with integrity who believe in something and are in it for the right reasons, they can win. And what we also learned is that when young people are engaged and involved, then we win.
Well, so hold up. Let me get this straight.
Matt?
I'm sorry for this. Let me hold up. See, there you go again. When you have a candidate who has integrity, now he's saying Jasmine Crockett is a liar. Because see, the word integrity, you all know, means when someone is filled with truth, justice, walks and talks in a manner where everything they say can be proven and shown to be factual. They know they're good at what they do. Here he is again calling this woman a liar. You see his wordplay, surreptitious. And again, he thinks that there's some of us out here, especially among the black folk, that we're not sophisticated enough to pick up on what he's saying. But we are. We read you loud and clear, brother. You didn't call this woman a liar again. Now, for Miss Crockett to have been in politics for as long as she's been, and a public defender, and so on and so forth, can someone show me where she's been proven to be a liar? Has she been negligent in certain areas? Sure, again, we're going to cover that. But for this man to stand up here and refer to her as a liar, huh? I recall Barack Obama some years ago. He backed a candidate here in New York. I'm out of New York, y'all. I'm not going to try to hide where I'm. New York. Former governor named Eliot Spitzer. He got behind him. And that dude turned out to be a real creep. I'll spare you what he got caught up in. But you know, sexual misconduct, you know how that go. But that's who he backed all those years ago. And he called that man authentic. He called him a man of integrity. But here he, once again, questions Miss Crockett's, insults Miss Crockett's honor as a woman, as a congresswoman. This dude, man, a black freaking white man. He had the nerve in the other clip where you heard him say, well, we think that some of you have a problem with Kamala Harris being a woman. No. He had a problem with her being the front runner. I ain't forgot that. He didn't endorse her. He only came around to endorse her because Joe Biden got in his butt and others got in his butt. But he didn't want her. He did not want to endorse her worth a damn. So now you understand why Jasmine Crockett lost. Here it is, Cardi B, a non-black woman. If you want to go that route, some of y'all may want to go that route. Endorsed her. With all her shortcomings and her chinks in her armor, she did endorse the black woman candidate. And I'm going to say this here, look, some of y'all going to say, it's not about race, it's about man, get out my face. Get out of my face with that, okay? I will not have a problem saying that at first.
You know what I would do if I were president, Mr. President? I would make
what's his name?
Divorce illegal. Then see how bad they want it.
I think
my point is this here. I would get on code if a certain candidate, if they black and they got their heart in the right place now, mind you, I'm going to vote for he or she. I got no problem saying it. Or if I don't have any confidence in them, I can sit it out. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to sit up here and let people berate this woman the way she's being berated. And then here it is, no one using authenticity. No one is using diplomacy except we here on the Lion's Den to seek out all the videos, which I believe Seven Answers is going to hit you with. Because boy, she hit me with them, and I was overwhelmed. It was information overload. Okay? We're going to show you how intelligent this woman is. And now, into the Democratic Party, You want to hit us in the head? Oh, well, you black voters didn't come out, man. How about this, Democrat? And you want to walk around talking about the Democrats are finished with black voters? Okay, while we waiting for those videos to come up, let me hit you in the head, Democrats. News flash. The overall majority of black Americans in this country feel the same way about you. We don't care if you don't like us. We don't care if you don't want to give us reparations and you don't want to give us an anti-crime bill and you don't want us making demands. For 60 years, you got over on our grandparents, great-grandparents, and then our parents' generation. You got over for a long time, 60 years, and then give black voters nothing. We watch you give everything to everybody else. Under Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and before that, William Jefferson Clinton, also known as Wild Bill Clinton. We watched you do that. We watched you use Jesse Side Action, or recently to see Jesse Side Action Jackson, and so many other political shills, Democrat shills, sell us the soap. And y'all gave us nothing. And some of you want to now try, you Democrats want to try to run this crap about, oh, we didn't turn out for Jasmine. That's bull shenanigans. I said shenanigans. Okay? We're gonna nip that in the bud. You don't like us, Democrat, we don't like you either. See, Generation X, millennial, we're that generation now that Malcolm X told you was coming. Spiritual sophistication, political sophistication. And we're not playing. We clear-cut understand that Jasmine Crockett lost because she was a danger. A straight-up danger to certain white men in this country who are out of line, out of pocket. Yeah, I'm not being racist when I say that. It's proven. Okay? We are dealing with, how you say, white people who are on code. And they're going to back their own unapologetically, and now we're and that's real talk. We don't, like Eddie Murphy said in Coming to America, yes, yes, forget you too, Democrats. And to Miss Crockett and other black politicos out there, if you're listening to this broadcast, if by the Lord's grace, you are blessed to hear this communication by myself and the seventh answer. It's time for you all to get on code now. Okay, let this be your wake-up call. And it's real talk. Okay? Now, you're going to have to make your choice in your area of black agenda, because now they're showing you wholeheartedly, even when you pander or if you compromise, you try to walk the middle. Nope. As Malcolm X said so powerfully, and so many others, you know, the Lord, like Christ himself said, nobody likes a Mr. or Mrs. in between. You either going to be hot or you're going to be cold. Okay? And it's just that simple. It is just that simple. And the bottom line is, okay, we here on the Lions Den are gonna get you on code, or we're gonna help you with that. Now we're gonna run the videos and everything else. Seventh Dance, I got a bit of an emergency. Can you hold it down for about 10 to 15 minutes, hon? Please? I'll be right back.
Go ahead. I'm gonna roll the tape.
Obama. There's no point. I got to be honest about Barack Obama. There's no point in having an accountability archive where you're going to hold content creators to a certain standard if you're not going to talk about Barack Obama and how he betrayed Palestinians, how he betrayed black people, and his views on reparations and his love of the police. First of all, I'm going to say Donald Trump. If I had to pick, I'd pick Barack Obama. But however, Barack Obama, the one thing the black community just doesn't want to admit to is that there's not much difference between him and a corrupt African leader. He don't come from the lineage here, from the soil. And so when it came to reparations, he didn't want to do it. But he had no problems bombing black countries. Go ask Yemen. When it came to empowering the police, this guy funded the police at the time at a historic rate, even over George Bush. He promised to give every police and sheriff's department in the country body cameras. So how come there's some now who still don't have them? The whole black to blue thing, that started under Obama, a lot of that stuff. So I just want you to understand that when it comes to corruption, but Barack Obama really wasn't all that different. I mean, a lot of you have this really, really weird romantic view of him. Like you just don't want to be truthful. Keep it a buck. Be honest about what you're seeing. Barack Obama, say in the modern day, you have a foundational black American or someone who's ADOS or a black descendant of American slaves. They would ask a person, do you support the police? And the person says yes. And you ask him, are you for reparations? The person says, oh, it's not the right time. No, not the right time. How would we judge that person right now? And then we also ask that person a third question. Hey, have you bombed black countries? Yeah. Wait a minute. So you bomb black countries, you're against reparations, and you back the blue with dollars, big dollars. By the way, the whole back the blue thing, a lot of that started under Mike Brown. What happened with Mike Brown? See? And did Obama's DOJ prosecute that officer who shot Mike Brown? See, you got to be honest about what you're seeing here, man. If I understand that the Republicans are worse, granted. But if the so-called allies here, if they're doing shit like this, I just want you to realize your vote, it should act just like that. You are sometimey friend, you gonna get a sometimey vote. See, you do that to earn your respect. But this whole romantic view of Barack Obama and having him influence you and how you think, excuse me, sir, you had the most powerful position in the goddamn planet. You ain't give reparations because you a damn tether, like most other, some immigrants who come over here to undermine us. You didn't do anything with the cops, and you damn sure didn't do anything with criminal justice reform. Barack Obama is no different than an African leader who's a tether. I just don't understand why y'all can't see that. Why we can't just be honest about that. Why we just can't keep it a buck with that. But I mean, let's be honest here. The only time Barack Obama ever really wanted to talk to the black community is when he wanted to chastise us, to tell us to get in line. You find that to be an opportune time no matter what time of year it is. When it came to reparations, though, it ain't the right time. Sir, you had 2 terms. Your second term was a lame duck term. I mean, the final 2 years, you could have just did an executive order to give us, the black descendants of American slaves, or at least black people, a bunch of goodies and benefits. And it could have been an executive order. I mean, it would have been undone under Trump. Sure. But it would have at least given you some grace. Because as Barack Obama found out during the last cycle, his hold on the black community is not as strong as he. And the main problem that I have with Barack Obama is that I saw from the start there was something wrong. There was something off, but I still gave him a chance. The first time he ran, I voted for him. And I waited. And I said, okay, I want to see if he's going to pay. I want to see if he's going to pay reparations, if he's going to push it. I mean, he mentioned it during the campaign trail. And then later on, he swapped up. See, that reminded me of Jim Clyburn. Jim Clyburn, Democrat in South Carolina, congressman. Jim Clyburn, he started out as a reparationist, meaning his whole platform was reparations. And then later on, Jim Clyburn flipped the script. See, that's somebody from my own lineage, right? But then when I see somebody who's a tether, like Barack Obama, become president, don't do shit for black people. And again, I know it's all the people who are going to disagree with this, right? I want y'all to know is everything that they're going to mention is not specific to black people or specific to the black descendants of American slaves, or even to black people. It's going to be something that anyone who's a so-called minority, anyone who's a so-called a part of a marginalized group can take a part of. They're going to mention criminal justice reform, which is not a thing, because if that were a thing, right, then that means that Joe Biden was a liar because he ran on the same platform. How can you have criminal justice reform if Barack Obama passed a bunch of reforms? You're saying that Trump undid it in one term, and then Biden got in? You see, these timelines just ain't matching up, man. A lot of people have to they have to get over this romantic view, this love affair they have with politicians who make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. See, a lot of people who supported Umar Johnson, they're learning to say the exact same lesson. This is what happens, is like the movie centers showed us. This is what happens when you let the vampires in. Oh, they're gonna smile a good smile. In fact, they're gonna seem like the right person at that time. In fact, they might have been the right person at the time. But understand something. Barack Obama is not for us, and he never really was. You can criticize Drake for all the exact same reasons you can criticize Barack Obama. They say he's part of the culture. What part of the culture is drone striking black countries? What part of the culture is not paying reparations? What part of the culture is you as a president funding the police at a historic rate, and then your vice president becoming president and then saying, I think we can all agree we shouldn't defund the police. We should fund the police. That was Joe Biden. What part of the culture is that? But he's a part of the culture. So you saying that we put Kendrick and Obama in the same room. Kendrick gets a whole line of his feats during his administration, and he starts asking Obama about it. You saying that the answers would be satisfactory? That it would be okay? Well, then at that point, let's just get rid of the whole accountability archive then, right? I mean, that has no point. If you're going to hold a bunch of random content creators to a freaking standard, but not the president of the fucking United States of America, I mean, what are we doing here? You know? I got to be honest about Barack Obama. There's no point in having an accountability archive where you're going to hold content creators to a certain standard if you're not going to talk about Barack Obama and how he betrayed Palestinians how he portrayed black people and his views on reparations and his love of the police. First of all,
I ain't gonna lie to you, you heard me? That guy.
President Barack Obama raised Assata Shakur's bounty. Remember, the State Department had $1 million bounty on Assata Shakur's head if somebody could bring her back to America to stand trial. $1 million. Barack Obama gets in there, and the FBI under Barack Obama, he's the president, they serve him. Under Barack Obama, the FBI raised the bounty on Assata Shakur's head, Art, from $1 million to $2 million. That's what Barack Obama did for Black America. He refused to exonerate the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, did nothing about police genocide, but made it more difficult for you to sue police for brutalizing you unjustifiably when he signed that Blue Alert law. Remember, he signed that law that made it almost impossible for you to defend yourself against police assault. President Barack Obama did that. So he was the last person to push Kamala Harris. Here's the problem, Art. The Black bourgeoisie failed to recognize that the people, the Black people who voted for Barack Obama were not the young people who will be voting now. The young people who voted for Obama are the parents. It is their children who are the young people now. And they have already seen how Obama did not serve Black people, and they were not going to fall for the same scam again. President Barack Obama raised Assata.
Can I come in?
Remember,
Can I come in?
the State Department had a.
And okay, the reason that we go.
Here, especially African Americans, minorities say that, you know, they feel that President Barack didn't do enough for.
Now, the reason that I'm dancing on Barack Obama's head, because see, again, what pissed me off about this whole thing with Jasmine Crockett, the Democrats tried to run this crap about, oh, well, you Black voters didn't come out in droves to vote for her, or didn't vote Democrat. But I'm gonna keep pushing this here. The #1 Black Democrat that could have backed her, got her over, he didn't endorse her. I want to keep reminding you of that. All this gaslighting, we're not having it. Okay? Just a friendly reminder of why we're going in on Barack Hussein Obama, y'all. A friendly reminder. He never backs any Black candidate. Although they backed him being on code just because he's Black. How about that? Run the video, Karima.
Minorities didn't do enough for Black people.
Black people.
You know, what are your thoughts on that?
You know what? I understand it because when I got elected, there was so much excitement and hope. And I also think that we generally view the presidency as almost like a monarchy, in the sense of, well, once the president's there, he can just do whatever needs to get done. And if he's not doing it, then it must be because he didn't want to do it.
Well, we see it with Trump, though. So he does what he wants to do, so people assume.
Well, right, because he breaks laws.
Right.
And or disregards the Constitution. But look, I think that anybody who goes into public life, they need to understand that, yeah, you're going to get criticized because that's just the nature of it. If you don't want that, then you shouldn't be in that business. The good news for me was that I was very confident in what I had done for Black folks because I had the statistics to prove it, right? So by the time I left office, you had seen 3 million African Americans have healthcare that didn't have it before. You had seen the incarceration rate, the number of Black folks in prison, drop for the first time in years. You had seen the juvenile correction system, 30% fewer people in there. You had seen Black poverty drop to its lowest level since 1968. You had seen Black businesses rise. You had seen Black income go up. So I could just look at the data and I could say millions of Black folks were better off at the time I left office than when I came in. And, what I have to accept, and I think what any president has to accept, is the fact that, okay, so I got 20 million people healthcare, but there's still 10 million out there who don't have healthcare because Republicans blocked me from doing everything I wanted to do with Obamacare, because some states didn't, accept Medicaid dollars, even though it wasn't going to cost them a dime, just because they wanted to oppose me. So if you're Black and you're one of those 10 million who didn't get health care because they live in a state that didn't accept the money we were giving them, I can understand why they would be upset. How come things didn't change?
I think people want to know, like, what did you do specifically for Black people? Not the rising tide lifts all boats types of rhetoric, because we all know Black people's boat got a hole in it. So the systemic things that were done to Black people to put us in these positions, we need specific systemic things to get us out. So what
I'm saying, Charlamagne, is Black poverty dropped faster than everybody else. Black incomes went up more than a lot of other folks. So, the issue is sometimes we just didn't go around advertising that, because once again, the goal here is to build coalitions where everybody is getting something so that they all feel like they've got a stake in it. But a lot of my policies were targeted towards people most in need. Those folks are disproportionately African American. Now, there are some things that, for example, us having a civil rights division in the Justice Department that actually took seriously civil rights and imposed consent decrees on places like Ferguson, and changed sentencing guidelines so that we didn't max out on sentencing for all nonviolent drug offenses, but changed the incentives to the prosecutors who judge not by how long.
Stop. He is saying absolutely nothing. See, notice how he's not addressing the fact that, hey, yeah, there were some Blacks who did benefit, but the overall majority of us are still in the poorhouse. Reparations would have gotten us all over, all of us. But notice how he's dancing and bojangling, and Charlamagne the fraud is letting him. Notice how he ain't answering the question, what did he do specifically for Black Americans? But we watched him do everything for everybody else. He rolled up the Civil Rights Bill and all that, gave it to white women and gays. We watched him do that. What was supposed to be for Black folks that Martin Luther King fought so vociferously for, he gave it to everybody but us. DEI, all that. That's Barack Obama. When it came down to the issue of a Black hate crime bill, before there was Joe Biden, there was Barack Obama, who could have signed. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. Obamacare, everybody benefited from that. Come on, man. Look at how he's talking. This is what the Democrats do. And you wonder why Jasmine Crockett lost? This is what they do. And he didn't endorse her. But yet you have Democrats trying to tell us the Black vote didn't turn out for, man, and they don't want to talk to us no more. We don't want to talk to you either, Democrats. And Jasmine Crockett, if you're listening to this, and all you others out there who have at times compromised and put that chink in your armor, now it's time for you to knock those dinks and chinks out and see exactly what you need to do now. Be uncompromising and go full guns blazing. And all you Black voices of media, Like I said, shame on y'all to sit up here and hit this woman in the head with ghetto tropes and dog her out the way you did, using white racist talking points. Run the video, Karima. Let's go.
Of a sentence you got, but did you get a proportional sentence? Was it a fair sentence? Those kinds of changes that we made, that's why I say there's a reason why the federal prison population dropped. By the way, at the same time, the crime also dropped, right? So we were able to show that you can have a smart strategy in terms of reducing crime without expanding incarceration. But the truth of the matter is, Charlamagne, at the end of the day, there is no way in 8 years to make up for 200 years.
Absolutely.
How do you take it when you hear,
Whoa,
especially African Americans, minorities say that?
Stop. Karima, did y'all just hear what he just said? That in 8 years, there's no way to make up for 200 or more years. Hold on. Under his term and in Joe Biden's term, we watched them take billions upon billions of dollars and give it to illegal immigrants right in our freaking faces. Papered them up as soon as they hit American shores. All they had to do was show up at EBT and all the other, and they got paid out the booty. In his 8-year term, if he signed off on the issue of reparations, every black man and woman and child, anyone who's on drugs, we put money in escrow and help them get healed, could have been getting upwards of $8 to $9 million per person. That was on the table. But you know who voted that down too? Black Democrats. That's right. That's right. Out of San Francisco, Amos Brown. That's not. I'm gonna come back to that later. But my point is, Barack Obama didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. The anti-black, anti-hate crime bill. He didn't want to do it. And then Joe Biden, Democrats, y'all, we watched y'all take the anti-black crime bill that could have been given. And here the FBI and CIA tell us statistically that in this country that we are the number one victims of hate crimes. But yet you rolled it up and gave it to the Asians. Stop Asian hate. We watched what you did, Democrats. So Jasmine Crockett, why did she lose? Because the Democrats, that's right, crossed her right along with the Republicans. See, whether white, like I always say, whether right wing, left wing, Kentucky Fried Chicken wing, the whole bird is goddamn foul. And here on the Lion's Den, the seventh answer and myself, we gonna rip and strip away all the hyenas and anybody that come and try and strike us down. Our pride, we gonna go to war. Win, lose, or draw. Run the video, Karima.
Energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities, as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. When you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. Who's had to work harder and do more and overcome. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. Part of it makes me think that,
Okay,
well,
stop, Kramer.
you just
Okay,
aren't
stop,
feeling
Seventh Answer. Please, please. Now, do y'all hear that? You hear how now, at that time, he started getting on the Kamala Harris bandwagon? He wanted to talk about the brothers. You had someone who went to school with you, who identified with you, was there, here and there, everything. But wait a minute. Jasmine Crockett went to school with us. She too. you see what I'm doing?
I knew you was gonna say that as soon as I
Well, Seventh Answer. I know that's why you backed it up and you were waiting for me to pick up on it.
Yes.
Okay. Hold up. Jasmine Crockett was there with us. Hood came up, pulled herself up by her proverbial bootstraps, academically accomplished, didn't take any handouts, didn't ask for any, and got it on and popping like Orville Redenbacher, if y'all know who I'm talking about.
What happened to the politics? The politics.
But went from law into politics, and yet, according to this clod right here, she's not authentic. She has no integrity. Bastard. Go ahead, Kramer. Run the video. The hypocrisy of this dude, man.
He ain't say nothing about her policies or anything. He just
not at all.
She's just like you.
Exactly. She's just like us, but initially, Barack Obama, you didn't want to back Kamala Harris. So what are you saying? Or in the immortal words of the late, great Gary Coleman, what you talking about, Willis? Stop playing with us, man. Jasmine Crockett, everything he's saying about Kamala Harris in this video fits Jasmine Crockett to a T.
Right.
To a T. And he didn't endorse her. He dogged her. Call her ghetto without calling the ghetto. She's not authentic. You think I'm stupid? We know what you're saying. Huh? She was a little showmanship here, a little huckstering. But you did the same thing, Barack. Come on. So, brothers and sisters, we just showing you how the Democrats give it up. And once and for all, y'all, they got to go. You still want to vote Democrat? That's on you. That's your business. But for all you Democrats out there listening to this broadcast, this is why black voters are saying, F you too. I won't use the actual word, but you know what time it is. We're that generation that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and so many others told you were coming. And above them, the Lord God Almighty told you was coming. You done with us, we done with you too. All you black shills out here, we done with you too. We're not going to be suckered any longer. And for all you black voices out here that may have a problem with what we laying down, lambasting you without using your names, if you got a problem with that, that's your business. But we're not lying. Okay? Coming for Jasmine Crockett on this ghetto, she's ratchet. What the fuck? Oops, sorry. Sorry. Are you kidding me, man? Seriously? Have you lost your minds? Clearly you have. And we're going to correct you on that. Go ahead, Seventh Answer. Run the tape, please.
The idea of having a woman as president. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable. We have not yet seen the same.
Before I go any further, I want you to hear exactly what this man had to say.
I'm speaking to men directly now. Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. That's not acceptable.
Respectfully, President Obama, what you said is not acceptable. Is it possible that the only reason some black folks may not be inclined to vote, or they may be a bit disenchanted, or dare I say may even be willing to go as far as voting for Trump, is it possible that it's policy as opposed to misogyny, inflation, the cost of living, the price of gas, the price of groceries? That don't matter? Immigration and our borders, and this belief that there's an elevated level of sensitivity towards them, as opposed to black folks struggling, if not starving, in this country. Yes, that plays a role too. When the mayor of New York was talking about $53 million in prepaid credit cards for immigrants who came across our borders illegally and having prepaid credit cards for them. And I said, wait a minute, black folks been starving for years. We ain't get that. You don't think they notice? Before I go any further, I want you.
Y'all help me make this make sense. Last year, I saw Obama chastise black men saying, y'all not supporting this Indian woman. Remember Kamala, who wasn't black, is not black, is not. Okay, she's Hindu. She's Indian. But I watched.
There's this young state rep, James Tirico, who was on there a while.
What began as a thoughtful exchange between generations of leadership became one of the most memorable moments in modern political discourse when Representative Jasmine Crockett, DTX, responded to a challenge from former President Barack Obama with an answer that redefined what intelligence and leadership mean in American politics. The moment unfolded during a high-profile symposium on the state of democracy in a divided America. Obama, known for his eloquence and intellectual depth, was discussing the decline of reasoned debate and the rise of political performance. Speaking to a packed auditorium, he urged leaders to embrace rigor and restraint in an era of viral outrage and shallow sound bites. It's understandable, he said, that in the face of intense opposition, leaders might meet fire with fire, but doing so risks diminishing our ability to solve real problems. Turning to Crockett, who has built a reputation for her fiery defense of justice and equity, Obama asked with a tone both respectful and challenging. Congresswoman, your passion clearly inspires many, but how do you ensure that passion remains grounded in deep analytical rigor, the kind of discipline effective governance requires? The audience fell silent. It was a question that seemed to test her intellectual mettle, a subtle but unmistakable dare. Crockett did not hesitate. After a brief pause, she leaned toward her microphone, her voice measured and clear. Mr. President, she began, I deeply respect your call for rigor in reason. My background as a lawyer demands nothing less. But I believe the ultimate test for leadership in these times isn't measured by debate alone. It's measured by courage, the courage to act on the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's costly. Her words cut through the air with quiet precision. The Congresswoman continued, speaking not in defiance, but in conviction. The test isn't about who can memorize the most theory or, quote, the most scholars. It's about who can carry that truth into rooms where it's unwelcome and still stand tall. The audience sat motionless, transfixed. For 31 seconds, Crockett had shifted the energy of the room. Her response did not contradict Obama's intellectual appeal, it expanded it. She reframed intelligence not as the mastery of abstract ideas, but as the ability to transform conviction into tangible change. Observers in the room described the moment as a passing of the torch. It wasn't confrontation, it was evolution. A younger leader answering a generational challenge, not with defensiveness, but with depth. Obama listened intently, then nodded, not in defeat, but in recognition. The exchange reflected what American democracy at its best can be, dialogue that deepens understanding rather than divides it. By the end of the session, commentators and viewers online were calling it the 31-second shift. In those few sentences, Jasmine Crockett had taken a conversation about intellect and turned it into one about integrity, a reminder that leadership isn't just about knowing what's right, but having the courage to fight for it when it matters most. What began as a thoughtful exchange between generations of leadership became...
Did y'all hear what the narrator just said?
I never thought.
Did you hear what he said? That Miss Crockett, in answering Barack Obama's question, she put forth integrity, she put forth sincerity. But we heard Barack Obama berate this woman, berate her as not being authentic, not having integrity. Yo, you see how we on the Lion's Den, seventh answer, you be outdoing yourself, damn. But you see how this works? You know what? You see why you need this show? And for all you Black voices that are tuning in, we hope that we can help you recalibrate how you've been coming for Miss Crockett with all that ghetto and ratchet crap you're running, that you have no business running. The man asked her a question and she answered it with superb clarity. I guess he didn't like that. All these years, he must have got amnesia.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Run the video. Let's listen to Jasmine Crockett now, y'all. Listen clearly.
That I would run for office, but some people are able to inspire others as they walk their own path. As a 27-year-old public defender walking in her path, there was someone who came along and inspired. The thing that is not normal is for me to be attacked from the left. That is the new wild card in this scenario. But it's just interesting. And, I've been asked a couple of times, a couple of things about it. And, I look at this specifically as a civil rights lawyer, and I see when they're sending out ads and they're darkening my skin, and I'm just like, I know what this is, right? And the reality is that, yes, I woke up a Black woman. I was born a Black woman. I know I'm a Black woman, for everybody that didn't think I didn't know. Just FYI, just FYI. But I am not running on the fact that I'm a Black woman. I am running on my credentials. And frankly, if no one wants to talk about my credentials or what it is that they are going to do for you, then that should be what's most alarming. This election ain't about me. Election is about us.
Kamala Harris truly understands the unseen labor and unwavering commitment that has always made America great. Now, unfortunately, we know what comes next. We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be Black.
Oh my. But yeah, here you have Jasmine Crockett with the same credentials, and according to the President Barack Obama, she lacks integrity.
I want to know who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those Black jobs.
My.
The thing that is not normal is for me to be attacked from the left. That
Let me make something fucking clear to y'all. What I said about James Tallarico is my fucking opinion and my fucking opinion alone. During my whole rant, I never said don't go to the polls in November. That shit never came out my mouth. You want to know why? Because the bitch does not live in Texas. Did I grow up in Texas, Houston, baby? Yes. Do I have family still there from my grandma down to my baby cousins? Yes. So do I have some skin in the game? Yes. Now I got people talking about we divide and you divide, and no, the fuck I'm not dividing. Jasmine Crockett was dealt a shitty hand, pushed out of her district. People saying that they're going to vote for James Tallarico because he's calm and he's white. Hey, Jasmine Crockett's race, the whole point of the race. Lied about her getting APAC money. Then people celebrated that the polls were closed. People couldn't vote because their voting areas had changed all of a sudden. Republicans doing everything they can to shut down voting early. You want me to fucking celebrate? I think's the fuck not. Am I telling Democrats not to go out and vote for James Tallarico? No, I'm not saying that. And as a Black woman watching this shit happen over and over again to us, I can voice my fucking opinion. Do with that what you may.
Okay, as colorful as that was, all right, but listen to what she said. And this is becoming more and more talked about.
What tangle we weave when one practices to deceive.
Real quick, notice how she said there was a lot of irregularity. Polls closing early, people being misdirected and everything else. Yeah. Come on. Despite her colorful rant, she's bringing out points that the mainstream media is leaving out. But we not. Go ahead, Karima.
Oh, Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Hussein Obama, allegedly. I want to show the world just how hypocritical the former president is when it comes down to this voting or supporting the Black woman, because he definitely didn't support Jasmine Crockett, but he sure enough lifted up James Tallarico. Coffee with Mrs. Miller, she starts right now.
I'm speaking to men directly. Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
And on the one hand, you have somebody who grew up like you.
This is the thing that's really interesting, because people have these stereotypes and actually misconceptions about who Indians are. I mean, at least I can speak about my own experience, and you have a similar experience, sounds like.
Knows, understands the struggles and pain.
Do you support reparations for Black people? Well, listen, I stand before you as the first candidate for Vice President of the United States of South Asian descent.
That comes from those experiences.
Yeah, support the Black woman of South Asian descent. The first, that's what she said. She never said anything about being Black, but that's neither here nor there. I digress on that part. But Barack Hussein Obama, he is such a charismatic type person. That is why he won the presidency twice, because he knows how to spin a narrative, and he knows how to, with those beady eyes, look away and not directly in your eyes,
and lied to you, allegedly, in order to make you all emotional and make you think about it, make you feel so bad that you didn't support the Black woman of South Asian descent with the same experiences as you. But that's just the beginning of his hypocrisy. Let's move on to a deeper one, shall we?
And I am proud to endorse Abigail Spanberger for governor. It won't happen without you. Every vote counts. So turn out and vote for Abigail Spanberger for governor on November 4th.
So we have here Abigail Spanberger. That's who Barack Obama endorsed. And she did win. She was the Democratic candidate for the governor of Virginia, and she won that. She beat out this particular candidate, Winsome Sears, the Black lady, who was the Republican candidate. Now, some of you are saying right now, it has nothing to do with Black or white, but it does, because Barack Obama made it about being Black, white, and being a woman, okay? When it came down to Black men experiences, they had the same experiences. So tell me, what experiences did Abigail Spanberger have with the Black community? None whatsoever, you know, but Winsome Sears did. Of course, it should never be about the color of anybody's skin or their gender. But the hypocrisy here with the former president, Barack Hussein Obama, he made it about the color of somebody's skin and their gender when he stood before a group of Black men and chastened them. So that was his hypocrisy, but yet and still comes back and does the very opposite of what he chastened them on. You can't make this stuff up. We're going to show you one of the biggest hypocrisies of Barack Obama ever, because now we're getting into a Black woman, a female, who's running for Texas Senate, Jasmine Crockett, against James Tallarico, a young white male. Both are Democrats, but yet and still Barack Obama says nothing about Jasmine Crockett, but he pours it all on the line for James Tallarico. Oh, what tangle webs we weave when we practice to deceive. Let's get into it.
There's this young state rep, James Tallarico, who was on there a while back out of Texas.
Oh, that guy's good, right?
He's terrific. A really talented young man. And it does require a certain confidence in your actual convictions to debate and have a conversation with somebody who disagrees with you on a whole bunch of stuff.
What makes him so good, though? Because there is something grounded about him that you had it too.
I you know what? So in our foundation, a lot of the work that I do is working with young civic leaders, political leaders, journalists, human rights lawyers, not just here in the United States, but around the world. And one of the first things I say to them is, know what you really believe.
Is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
He knows what he believes. He's very verbal about what he believes. He believes God is non-binary. That part.
Right. I think a guy like him, his starting point is, let me say what I believe. I think now more than ever, what people long for, and the word authenticity gets overused, I think. What people long for is some core integrity that seems absent. Just a sense that, the person seems to walk the walk, doesn't just talk the talk.
Oh, how nice. A little bromance there, a little mini Barack Obama, because it seems like Barack Obama is a little taken by James Tallarico's talent. I think that he believes that Tallarico reminds him of himself in his younger years. You know, how fast youth just escapes us, with the gray hair and all. But it just seems like he could have had an opportune time to speak to, the Black community about the Black woman, Black and female, gender and race, you know what I'm saying? On all of her same experiences, kind of like he did when he was scolding those Black men from Pittsburgh about, not really wanting Kamala Harris to be their leader. So let's just bring this on home. And I'm just going to start with myself. When I go into a voting booth, I take my faith with me, because there is no separation of church and state when it comes down to my faith, my morals, and my God, Jesus Christ. But there is a separation of church and state when it comes down to the government infringing on my morals, my values, my faith, and my God. So when I vote, I'm going to vote for policies that's not going to be demonic. That's not going to say men could come over into women's spaces or women can just use being the little babies down at the clinic as birth control. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to support anything like that, and definitely won't support people trying to change God's divine order, like with the T's in the alphabet community. Definitely going to vote for law and order because God is a God of law and order. That's what it's about for me, and that's how I cast my vote. But unfortunately, Barry Soetoro Barack Hussein Obama, allegedly, and many that think like him, uses their platform against people when necessary. Vote for this person because they're Black. Vote for this person because they're a woman. But then they show just how hypocritical they are, because when there is a candidate that meets the criteria on the other side, they say vote for the opposite candidate on their side. Because it was never about being Black or a woman. It's just about pushing their policies, their agenda. It's about being Democrat. Barack Obama, allegedly, is a hypocrite, and many like him over there, overseers on a Democratic plantation, trying to keep the good Black folk in line. And many of you white folk too. They will use identity politics to browbeat you into submission, to get you all emotional, you know? The Republicans are not the cat's meow. There's a lot of bad Republicans out there too. I'm not here to promote you to be in liberalism or conservatism. I'm not here to promote any of that. I'm here to promote you to think for yourself, to independently think for yourself. If what these people believe don't line up with your core values, why are you voting for them? Why are you voting identity politics? Quit it. Because at the end of the day, the only person that's going to hurt is you. Bye.
I knew I was going to be in trouble when I made a critique of Jasmine Crockett. This comment is not from any particular person, but represents the hundreds I've received. I worry for you. Be careful. This is just the newest way to discredit the voices of very real Black women. I have a video I'd like you to watch right now of a very real Black woman, a congresswoman from Pennsylvania, Summer Lee. Let's take a look.
This is not a normal time, and our response to it can't be politics as usual. I'm Congresswoman Summer Lee, and I'm honored to deliver the Working Families Party response to the President's State of the Union. The concentration of wealth has created two separate Americas, one for working person and one for the wealthy. And for years, powerful men like Donald Trump and Elon Musk have used the politics of fear and division, telling us that we should blame our neighbors for our struggles. They need you to believe the problem is the immigrant, or trans kid, or someone who looks differently or worships differently than you. They want you to look anywhere but at them. But we don't have to accept that. Don't let anybody tell you we can't afford it. We somehow find endless money for ICE, for private prisons to warehouse Black and brown people, and for bombs to be sent abroad. But we're told healthcare and childcare are too expensive. And when we begin questioning those priorities, the powerful try to divide us once more. But that old playbook is losing its grip. So if you're sick of the corruption and the cruelty in this administration, if you're frustrated by Democrats who speak boldly but deliver cautiously, or sometimes even vote with MAGA, then believe that change can and will happen if we build political power together. That's why the Working Families Party exists, to help us bring bolder people into government who better reflect the vision of working people. Because working people are the majority. And when we come together and fight, we win. Join us.
So the message I get from this is it's not just about us getting Donald Trump out of office. Donald Trump is just a puppet in the scheme of things. It's all these tech oligarchs, Elon Musk, billionaires. And if our candidates are being supported by them, how can we expect any kind of change? So there's a revolution happening right now in politics and in the Democratic Party. We have people like Summer, like AOC, like Bernie Sanders, like Cory Bush. There's so many. I'm just beginning to learn who they are too. So if you are willing to think about this with me, follow my channel and learn with me and take a look at some of these links. Look at the Working Families Party, look at Summer Lee, and go and listen to some of those fighting oligarchy talks that AOC and Bernie do. And maybe we'll see eye to eye on this. This is not a takedown of people like Kamala Harris or Jasmine Crockett, but it's saying for our political survival, we need people who are independent of the oligarchs.
Our Democratic Party chair, Carl Coleman, he beat me to the punch, as myself and Colin all read. We're about to file a lawsuit to keep the voting polls open. We were able to keep the polls open, but I can tell you now that people have been disenfranchised. The reason that we knew that there were problems is because we were receiving the phone calls and the emails. The polls were supposed to stay open until 9, according to a court order. The Supreme Court, just a few minutes ago, just said, shut it down. Once there was a court order saying you had until 9, I'm sure that there were people that joined the line after 7. They now are telling them that you have to separate the votes out. What this means is that we will not know what votes are to be tallied from Election Day out of Dallas County. For sure, we won't know that tonight. I want you to enjoy yourselves, but I won't be back tonight because I have no idea of when we're going to get results, and I fully anticipate it won't be until tomorrow. Our Democratic Party chair, Carl Coleman, he beat me to the punch.
When you hear people say there's a literacy crisis, this is what they mean.
No. What do you mean? Jasmine not going to Congress for Texas? Oh, Crockett, a girl can only dream. Listen, Jasmine, what was that one quote that you said? Let me think. Oh, yeah, we done picking cotton. You can't pay us enough to go find a plantation. Yeah, you remember that? I remember that. How could I forget? See, 6.5 million Hispanic voters in Texas, which is like the majority of the electoral vote here in the state. And you mean to tell me that you think that we're still picking cotton? Hell no, girl. Hell no. That's why you lost.
A literacy crisis literally means that people are illiterate. And that doesn't mean that they can't read. So they make some meaning, but it's very surface level. The higher order thinking skills that are needed for critical thinking, making inferences, drawing conclusions, they don't have them. This lady actually thought, and she's not an anomaly, that when Jasmine Crockett said, we're not picking cotton no more, that she was talking about the Latinx population picking cotton.
Right.
If you are illiterate, you took that statement very literal. Trump and the rest of his regime won this election because people were illiterate. And they are making doubly sure that folks stay that way. We're not picking cotton no more. Making inferences, which means you would need to be familiar and knowledgeable of that reference and what she actually meant. She absolutely knows folks ain't picking cotton that way. The statement meant that we won't be your slaves anymore too. You know what? Never mind. Never mind. There is a literacy crisis and a push to make sure people stay illiterate. All right, good people. When you hear people say there's a literacy crisis, this is what they.
Well, Jasmine Crockett got out here and acted like the ghettoest woman since Martin dressing up like Shanae.
Oh,
And she made a fool out of herself.
You're calling someone else ghetto and making fool of themselves. You're
I
doing
don't
that.
have an Ivy League education like Jasmine
You're,
Crockett, sir.
you're doing that. You're making fun of somebody.
I
for
don't
being
have
ghetto?
an Ivy League. I don't have an Ivy League education like Jasmine Crockett. This is from the root. This is from the root.
Jasmine Crockett didn't go to the Ivy League.
Yes, she did. She never went to.
Oh, he cut her to shreds. I remember this interview. He cut her to shreds. But see, ladies and gentlemen, what we're showing you. You hear that? The ghetto? Calling the ghetto. Yo. But let this video play out if it's more. I want y'all to hear this, man, as he takes her to school.
Do you know where she went to college?
Sir, are you being serious right now?
I'm
Jasmine
asking you,
Crockett has
do you know
had
where
a
she went to
silver
college?
spoon.
Where'd she go to college?
She had no, I don't know where she went to college, but I know
So
she
how
had
can
to
you
pay
say
for
how
it.
can you say that she was in
But
the
I know
Ivy
she
League?
had to pay for it, sir. She's been
But-
paying for her education since elementary, sir.
How can you say that she was in the Ivy League if you don't even know where she went to college?
Because of where the position that she's in right now.
Let me ask you a question. What is the Ivy League?
Are you being serious?
Yeah, what is it?
Harvard, Yale, Spelman. Come on, bro. Don't play with me like that.
Spelman's not the Ivy League.
Yes, it is for black people. It is, but if you knew that and wasn't okay, let me not do that. But it is what it is. You don't play with me. We can play. I'm like, yeah. Jasmine Crockett.
So what is the Ivy League?
I just told you. Harvard, Spelman,
Spelman's
Yale.
not the Ivy League.
The Army. What's the Army thing?
West Point.
Yeah, West
That's
Point.
not the
all
Ivy
of that
League
is the
either.
Ivy League.
That's not the Ivy League either.
Well, that's what I know the Ivy League to be.
It's not the Ivy
So
League.
maybe it's
and
something
by the way, Jasmine Crockett went to none of the schools that you just mentioned.
Well, it does not matter where Jasmine Crockett went. Well, Jasmine Crockett.
See that? Calling the ghetto and everything else. And now, who's really actually ghetto?
She said it don't matter. She said it don't matter when she the one brought it up.
Exactly. Come on, y'all. Really? We gotta do better. Well, go ahead, Seventh Answer. Run it. He tore her to shreds without tearing her to shreds. That's what we're talking about. Don't be a mockingbird, as Seventh Answer said, copying white people's talking points about us. Now we presented videos showing you how intelligent that woman is and how when Barack Obama put it to the test, she passed with flying colors. But here, years later, he's calling her a liar, lacking integrity, and ghetto in his own right. Go ahead, Kareem, run the video.
The Cubans, as we know, that are in Miami, the I will vote for Donald Trumps, they are very soft targets for misinformation. a lot of Latino and Hispanic communities are, to be frank. And especially if you're from Cuba. Cubans hear socialism, communism, and as long as the Republicans use those words to describe democratic policies, they will vote Republican every time, even if they're voting for themselves to be put out of America. They will do it every time. And so that's something that it requires a level of sophistication to understand. And one of the main platforms for the disinformation is Univision. And many of the Spanish language newspapers, many of them are owned by conservative, right-leaning people. And so they constantly are a group that is filtered full of misinformation.
Jasmine Crockett can only blame herself for not winning. When you play the race card over and over and over, it may work for some time. It worked in the Obama era. It worked under Biden. It's not going to work anymore because America in general and Black people are tired of the race card. She could have won if she had other voting blocks voting for her. Let's say white people.
Boy. So we got to follow up on the fallout that is currently happening over Jasmine Crockett losing the Texas Senate primary to James Tallarico. Now, there's a whole lot of infighting going on within Democrat Party circles, okay? The so-called 92%, aka Black women, right, who for whatever reason think it's a good thing that 92% of them all vote the same way, right? But they're upset, right? The Black bourgeoisie, they are pissed off. In fact, they are threatening to boycott the Democrat primary. They say, hey, you know what? We're not going to vote for the white man, James Tallarico, because he's racist, right? They ran a racist campaign. Voters are racist. They also don't like the fact that Latinos betrayed Jasmine Crockett, that they decided that they're not going to show up for Jasmine Crockett. And I want you guys to remember how upset these people got when Kamala Harris lost and they saw that a bunch of Latino men did not vote for Kamala Harris, right? They were really mad about that. They were really upset about that. So, yeah, I mean, that's the same type of energy that they're on right now for Jasmine Crockett, because this is the second time that they feel as if Latinos have betrayed the so-called Black and Brown coalition, which is leading to a lot of them calling for a boycott, saying, hey, we're not going to show.
The Cubans, as we know, that are in Miami, let
me ask you about a quote that you've made that has some Democrats worried about your ability to win statewide. In a December 2024 Vanity Fair profile, you talked about, quote, and I'm going to read a lot of the quote just to put it in the context, quote, all the complexities within the Latino community. The immigration thing has always been something that has perplexed me about this community. It's basically like, I fought to get here, but I left y'all where I left y'all, and I want no more y'all to come here. If I wanted to be with y'all, I would stay with y'all, but I don't want y'all coming to my new home. It almost reminds me of what people would talk about when they would talk about kind of like slave mentality and the hate that some slaves would have for themselves. It's almost like a slave mentality that they have. Now, about the time that that was published last year, around 1 million Latino voters in Texas were voting for Trump. Do they all have slave mentality?
No, and that's not what that said at all, to be clear. It did not say that every Latino has that type of mentality.
No, but the ones that vote for people who believe in strong or Trump's immigration policies.
So I don't believe that the people that voted for Trump believe in what they're actually getting.
Let me ask you about a quote that you've made.
Every lawyer out there can relate to this moment.
Are you aware of that?
Yes, and I would disagree with the judge on several
I'm sure you
points
would,
in
but can
there.
you tell me whether or not
That
you have a law degree?
Father chose to.
Can you tell me
have
whether or
Lehman
not you
be
have a
with
law
him.
degree?
If I have what?
A law degree.
No, I do not have a
Okay,
law degree.
and you do understand, because I can go through a bunch of court cases and orders that I disagree with from the Supreme Court, that ultimately that is the order of the court. That is what you follow.
Every lawyer out there can relate to this moment.
Are you aware of that?
Yes, and I would disagree with the judge on several
I'm sure you
points
would,
in
but can
there.
you tell me whether or not
Okay. Father chose to.
Can you tell me whether or not you have a law degree?
ghetto?
I have what?
Hold on, y'all. Is she ghetto? Oh, is she ratchet?
Go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do.
Do you hear her? I just want to make sure we're on the same page. She's competent.
clear, respectful, but yet determined. She's not authentic. Really, Barack Obama? Really, Democrats? And anybody else? All you black so-called black voices in media? Really? Run the video, Karima.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right, right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation. So I had to go around the country and educate people.
Can James Tallarico get black Texans to rally around him for November? If the primary race is any indicator, the answer is no. He ceded that voting block to Jasmine Crockett willfully. I don't even like.
They did not vote for her because they felt she couldn't do it. They didn't vote for her because they didn't want to owe black people and black women anything. They already owe black women so much, and they just know that, like, yeah, the price was too high for them. They're unwilling to admit how extraordinary the black woman is, and a black woman's ability to lead and to affect and make these major changes in our society. And they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay. So they'll pay somewhere else. They're going to pay in their ass because they don't want to pay. They don't want to admit the truth. And so let them pay. They just going to have to pay. And us as a collective are going to have to let them pay. We don't have to be against anybody at this point, or we just have to choose to go, I see you, and just let them do what they're going to do, because we already know it will fail. And so that's it. The price was too high. The check that they just couldn't. There was a check they was never going to be able to cash because they just, yeah, that's it. They just didn't want to owe.
Good morning, TikTok. We got to talk about it. I know we're beating a dead horse here. The primaries in Texas, James Tallarico, Jasmine Crockett. It is so deeply, ironically unironic what the discourse has turned into, because it seems that a certain demographic of people did not learn their lesson after Kamala, when they told the 92% of black women that they weren't going to listen to them and they didn't need them. Those people made the same mistake again in Texas by telling those same black women once again that they weren't going to listen to them and they didn't need them. But the funny thing about this particular race is the reasons people cited for choosing Tallarico right now over Jasmine Crockett in the primaries, and now they don't want to use those same reasons to go into the midterms. Going into the primaries, especially towards the end, when the James Tallarico fan base really ramped up, a lot of the reasons I heard were, well, he can reach out to Republicans. And I made videos about this weeks ago where I said, that's ironic because those same people supporting James Tallarico said that they didn't support Kamala because she appeared with Liz Cheney, a Republican. That was a deal breaker for them. But then turned right around and said, well, we like James Tallarico because we feel that he can reach Republicans and Jasmine Crockett can't. That's interesting. You didn't vote for Kamala because of that, but you voted for James Tallarico because of that. Okay. So then, once again, black women in Texas and black men as well feel misrepresented or underrepresented or not represented at all by you guys choosing James Tallarico. But now the rhetoric is, well, now's the time for us to come together. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Now's the time for us to come together. Have any of you considered taking your own advice and instead of trying to now coerce Black women and Black men in Texas to come together for you when you couldn't come together for them? Why don't you guys take your own advice and reach out to Republicans? Because isn't that why you chose James Tallarico? Because he could reach out to Republicans? So since you're once again telling Black men and women in Texas that you don't need them and you don't care about their representation, then go reach out to Republicans. Isn't that why you voted for James? Because he could reach out to Republicans? So why are y'all getting mad now that Black women are telling y'all, yo, we're done with this? If you're not gonna listen to us, once again, we're done with this. Go get it on your own. But now you guys are upset saying this is not the time for that. Wait a minute. What happened to James can reach out to Republicans? Shouldn't you be pushing that agenda? You voted for the man. You voted for the man because you said he could reach out to Republicans. So then why are you trying to reach out to Black men and women? You just told them you don't want them represented. And now you are also trying to tell them what to do now after you didn't listen to them again? You guys are hilarious. But good luck in the midterms. So go reach out to Republicans.
Tallarico supporters, Tallaricans, I think there's some work to be done. I don't think the DNC is too confident about James winning his race in November. Me personally, I think he's just such a nice, great guy. I just don't think he's electable. I just don't see how he can win without the Black vote. And I just think Black Texas voters are just too pro-Black. You know how like Texas is too racist. I just think they're too pro-Black and they just won't vote for him. It has nothing to do with race. This is purely about numbers, okay? This is only about math. I just think he's too soft-spoken to push back against an authoritarian. And then the experience, has he even spent any time in the House of Representatives? But he's going to go straight to being a senator? Maybe he can, be more suited for something like head of school board or something like that. I would just really love to be able to open up my wallet and donate to him and support him. But I just can't. The DNC doesn't even want to do it. So I just, maybe you guys could do it. You guys could do it because he's going to need some money to make up for that DNC money he's not going to get. Maybe you guys can negotiate with the Republicans, right? Because remember, he's supposed to be able to flip the Republicans. He can do it. He's the chosen one. So I think what you guys need to do is you can put all your faith in the Republicans and then they'll vote for him. That'll do it. Yes, that'll do it. Now, guys, if he doesn't win, it's okay. It's just one Senate seat. It's not the presidency. I know you said that he gave you Obama vibes and he reminded you of Barack, but it's okay. I think maybe there is somebody more qualified that can save the entire country by themselves from that one particular Senate seat. If he doesn't win in November, it's okay. Let's be cool. We don't need to make this another Bernie situation and say the DNC put its finger on the scale against James in his race because they didn't want to give him money. And we don't have to say it was those pesky Blacks that got in his way, okay? If he does lose, he just didn't run a good campaign. Tallarico supporters, Tallaricans, I think there's some work to be done.
Y'all, I need you guys to understand, Jasmine Crockett losing, it's more than just a loss. You understand? It represents voter suppression. It represents a lot of the things that the Black community has fought for and had fought through, and we really thought that we had got past that. DEI had gotten taken away. It's so many rights and it's so many laws that have gotten stripped from the American people that the Black community fought for, that helped more than the Black community. And it's like the people that it helps is help stripping it away. And I want to make this video because I need for not just us, but especially our allies, because I see so many allies making videos and they are pissed off. You guys are pissed. But well, we have a saying in the Black community: all skin folk ain't kin folk. And that's a part of this war that we have going on, like this whole issue that we have the Black community have going on when it comes to social media. Y'all know they found this bot farm. I believe it was a Russian bot farm in Africa or something, and it was made to spew anti-Black rhetoric. So there are bots on here, and I want to give you guys a couple of things to look out for and people to look out for. If there's somebody in the comments and they have to say, well, I'm a Black woman and I'm a Black man and they have no profile pictures, no videos, or their thing is private, 9 times out of 10 they're not Black. And I've also ran across a couple of profiles that it has a history, right, of like retweets and stuff like that, maybe a year old, 2 years old, or videos that have no face to it, and they'll do the same thing. You know, oh, I'm Black, I'm a Black woman, and I'm a Black man, and you know, and no, they're not times they're pretty much there to create division and pretend to be Black. Also, something that we've really been dealing with in the Black community is people in the diaspora that aren't Black, but have cozied up to got close to Black Americans, they got close to the Black American culture in a divisive way. All right, because last night I was, scrolling, and I come across a video on a Black American presenting woman speaking down on the people, Black women being upset about Jasmine Crockett. And if you take it at face value, it looked like a Black woman that disagrees with Black women. However, I scrolled down to see, and she wasn't even Black. She's an immigrant in the United States, and she had always had divisive views on the Black community. And what upsets me is a lot of the times there are some Blacks that will agree with these people, not knowing that they don't like you. Okay, and so I scrolled down and I found this. Right. And if you guys don't believe that that's how she feels or thinks, then here. Right. So it was people that already had a preconceived notion about Black Americans that put on the Black American skin and want to, they're insidious. They're very insidious. So it's just, and I've noticed that when racists, when they want to make a point and they want to Black, oh, see, she's Black or he's Black, and they go to one of those kind of people like her, the ones who think, stuff like this. Right. And so just be mindful, and I am very grateful to all the allies, to everyone making the videos, to everyone that see that at the end of the day, it's about the right thing. That's what it's about. It's about the racism stuff. Y'all got to stop with that. America's burning because y'all don't want to elect Black women or even Black presenting women. It's
Yeah, Operation Mockingbird. She basically saying what I was saying. They paid bots, different robots to do advertisement on the Black community to keep us, going at each other or talking down on us. Fake people acting like they Black to so people tune into them or agree with them because they can identify us, but they hating on us at the same time. But they pay these people, and some of them just work for the media.
Yeah, but as you can see, the lion's den. We're on the hunt, ripping out and uprooting all the fakers and hyenas and charlatans out there that are enemies to the people. And we bringing it raw, straight with no chaser. And the only way you're not going to agree with us is because you want to be blind. You want to be dumb. You want to live in a bubble of illusion. That's the only way you will not agree with us. Now, as you can see, Jasmine Crockett is far from ghetto, far from ratchet. Okay, if she is wearing a wig or whatever, she wears it neat, elegant, and all that. So what y'all saying? What's good, y'all? What's really good? Let's keep the energy going, seventh answer. As we come up on the third hour, I'm about to close out. Okay, well, let's talk. So now, all the different videos where we showed you, most notably, Barack Obama had a discussion with the very woman he called not authentic, didn't have integrity, and she proved herself to be a worthy candidate. So why did Jasmine Crockett really lose? Because across the Republican and Democratic board, she was coming with the double-edged sword in that area of the whole Jeffrey Epstein and friends, with Donald Trump apparently being a number one on the list. I'm going to say number one because since he's the president, number one on the list, along with others, some of whom are Barack Obama's peoples and friends. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. All I'm saying is, this is why it's important for you to get up off your duff and check things out for yourself. And even some of these black voices, down for the black. If y'all done started getting APAC money on the low, or sellout money on the low, we gonna out you too. We gonna come for you too. The Lord gonna put you on blast in the not so distant future too. So maybe you ought to reconsider where you getting your money from, and who you taking money. Yeah, who you taking money from. With that being said, let's run the video, Karima.
That has been debated a great deal, but what I'm going to say to you is I'm going to quote some of our earliest forefathers. Do you think that our forefathers?
I want to give you a chance to talk, but I also just want to make sure that I'm getting an answer to my question. Is there a separation of church and state?
Did those that first Congress, that earliest Congress, when they authorized the production of a complete King James Bible, was that a separation of church and state?
I'm just asking you
I
a
know.
simple question.
I think that I think I've answered it.
Do you know who coined the term separation of church and state? Who is that?
I believe it was Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson.
Yes.
Yeah. Thomas Jefferson in that letter was referring to the First Amendment of the Constitution, the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause, which clearly create a separation of church and state.
I have some scholars here that can better answer your specific questions, and I am not that person.
Okay. We established that our founding fathers wanted a separation of church and state.
I did not establish that. I absolutely did not establish
historical
that.
fact established
I
that.
disagree
But
with that.
do you think the constitutional the Constitution is foundational to our country?
I do.
Why doesn't your bill mandate that the Constitution be posted in every
Well,
classroom?
if you want to carry that bill, you can. I'm carrying the bill that I chose to
Well,
carry.
yeah, and I'm not interested in micromanaging what posters are put up in classrooms, which is why I would never carry a bill like this. But I'm asking why, since you are in the business of deciding what posters are up in a classroom, which ones aren't, why is the Constitution not taking that prime spot? Because it's the most foundational document.
I'm so tired. I'm just.
That's okay.
in
I
a
know.
brain fog, and
Let me move on.
Let
Let me move on.
Yeah, I'm just.
I'll move
I'm
on.
trying to.
Yes, I understand. Is there a separation of church and state in this?
We're not asking teachers to be theologians. We're asking teachers to display the 10 Commandments.
You know how important the 10 Commandments are to me, and you know how important my faith is to me, and we have an honest disagreement about the role of the government in this kind of policy. So I just want to have a conversation about that. The First Amendment forbids the government from establishing a state religion. Is that something we can both acknowledge and agree to?
I will agree with the fact that we don't want government telling religion what to do.
Do you believe religious instruction for children is the job of parents and pastors or government employees?
Again, we're just talking about a display of the 10 Commandments here.
So I think the only reason politicians in this body would be micromanaging what posters are put up in a classroom is if we want children to read the posters. Would you be comfortable with adding language requiring parental consent from all the parents of students in the classroom before putting up a religious document on the walls of the classroom?
No, I would not.
So you're against parents having a say in their students'
I'm
religious
against
instruction?
that proposed amendment. Yes, I think that we need to return to the foundational truths.
How do you think it makes a Hindu student feel to have a poster in every classroom that says, "Thou shalt not worship any god before me"?
Again, if they have come to the United States and they are living here, they're born here, they're citizens, then they would probably enjoy celebrating what made our forefathers so different from every other nation in the world. We're not asking teachers to be theologians. We're asking teachers to display the.
I think we saw in the last election that we can't take any community for granted, but particularly Black voters. Assuming that anyone is going to show up and vote for you as a candidate or show up and vote for your political party is a deadly mistake in a democracy. And it's our job to go out there and compete for every voter and to listen to their concerns and then provide solutions that can make their lives easier and better. And so there is no way to win the state and to be an effective senator without listening to, showing up for, and investing in Black voters all the time, not just a couple months.
Did you hear that? Okay, stop. Oh, Karina, yo, 7th answer. Oh my goodness. You are, oh, yo. Did y'all hear that? Now, didn't you hear us say earlier on in this broadcast that taking the event, they know what they're doing. They're finished with Black voters and now, and see, they know what we need and what we want, and we deserve it. They just don't want to give it to us because they've been so used to owning us and we being the docile Negroes who just steal chickens and like to dance and eat watermelon. They believe that bull crap. But see, now they're acknowledging it. See, there's some voices saying, no, we got to stop playing. We know that this is the generation, this Black generation here, and going forward, they're not having it. They're not playing games. They know what they want. We're not going to compromise it. We're not going to let no one come in and tell us what reparations are. We don't want your housing vouchers. We don't want your car vouchers. We want our cold hard cash and money that this country owes us. Reparations are not a handout. It's a debt owed. Democrats, and see, you're cutting your nose up to spite your own face, huh? Going against your own party and candidates. See, ripping off Jasmine Crockett was not a good thing to do. Not so much that a lot of Black voters were too concerned about that issue, but just the way you operate Everyone's looking at you. Huh? And if this is what you do to your own membership and those who are in your rank and file, what won't you do? Something to think about. Yeah, black voters, we're not. Look, here's what's actually going down. A complete and total separation of the races is happening. Black folks walk away from the Democratic Party. They also walk away from the Republican, and they walk away from anything else this country has to offer. Because see, this country has nothing but dishonor, lies, deceit, hypocrisy, double talk that's going on. And everyone's tired of it. And like I've always said in the spirit, when you see white folks burning their own American flag, when you see white folks ready to go and rip this society a new one because they're not getting their fair share, oh, black people, you know what we need to be doing. Let's keep the energy going, seventh answer, as the conversation continues. And that is, we're just going to bring you the truth. We're not going to sit up here hemming and hawing. And for Jasmine Crockett and all you other black politicos out there that are blessed to hear this broadcast, now the time has come for you to make a decision on how you're going to rock. Some of you that still have your office.
Tallarico with his smile, but with his
Tallarico.
All 5'8" of him. He is a good snake oil salesman, but he is still selling you snake oil. He is a liar. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. The FCC did not shut down this interview with Tallarico and Stephen Colbert. They did not shut down this interview. You see, what really happened is CBS's lawyers provided guidance to Stephen Colbert that if, in fact, you do put on Tallarico, the fairness doctrine of a federally regulated and licensed airwaves, such as CBS, different than cable, different than online, requires that you give his political opponents equal airtime. Oh, not to Ken Paxton. Oh, not to John Cornyn. What they were talking about was the Congresswoman, the other Democrat, Jasmine Crockett. Tallarico with his smile.
For all y'all Latinos that think that James Tallarico is one of y'all, watch this.
For me, prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness.
He is a white man, and his name is not even James Tallarico. It's James Dale Collins. It don't get no whiter than James Dale Collins. And he has colonized your mind once again. So y'all can leave that excuse out the equation, and let's start addressing this anti-blackness. For all y'all Latinos that think that...
People. I've been warning you. For the last 3 years, I have been warning you. I have sent out SOS. I have sent out all types of alerts. I have sent out an emergency broadcasting system alert. I have sent you email, text, phone calls, live videos. I have screamed. I have yelled. I have hollered. I have waved SOS signs and banners. I have waved white flags, red flags. I have put up yellow traffic lights, red traffic lights. Stop, halt. Trying my best to warn you that your beloved plantation Democratic Party is racist. You won't listen. Like my dad would say, your head is as hard as a donkey's butt. But he wouldn't say butt. You won't listen. You're stiff-necked. You are hard-hearted, just like the Israelites. You won't listen to anything. You won't believe anything. You want to go with your feelings, your emotions. You want to go along with culture. You want to go along with what looks like you, walk like you, talk like you, sound like you, drive like you, push wheels like you, bounce like you, roll like you, eat like you, think like you, drink like you. Baby, the Democratic Party is the last party you need to be affiliated with those feel-good things, because that has absolutely nothing to do with politics. You wanted to play identity politics. So look where it's gotten you. Here's your girl being rejected, being blackballed, being pushed aside, being ignored, being written off. Jasmine Crockett running for the U.S. Senate seat for Texas for the 2026 Democrat primary coming up March 3rd in just a few days here. And guess what? The Democratic Party has blackballed her. They don't want her. They say she is too dark. Isn't that something? The same identity politics that she has pushed over and over and over and over now no longer want her because she is too black. Peep that. The Democratic Party don't want Jasmine Crockett because to them, Jasmine Crockett, her skin is too dark. Baby, if that is not racism, what is it? See, I try to tell you guys over and over and over and over and over. A hit dog will scream the loudest. The very affiliation who is always yelling and screaming, racism, racism, he's racist, she's racist, they are racist, are the very ones to be racist. Over and over and over, try to tell you how racist the Democratic Party is and have been since the moment of its conception. Can't tell you anything. Stiff-necked, hard-hearted people don't want to listen to anything. Always yelling and screaming racism. Baby, don't you understand that the very ones who is always screaming racism and white supremacy are the very groups of people who are the biggest racists? I tried to tell you that, but you wouldn't listen. So here we are now. The Democratic Party has rejected Jasmine Crockett. They no longer want her. They say she is too dark. Her skin is too black.
Oh, you know what?
You know how you wanted to boast and brag about
right
your
here.
girl
Hold on for a
melanin?
second.
Your black
Boy,
girl melanin was so popular. Evidently, it's
right now, I wish I could. I wish I could just, while she's saying that, I wish I could cue up Malcolm X. Too black, too strong. That'd be perfect. Too black, too strong. Yeah, that's right. She's too black, too strong. Make sure you understand that. Go ahead, Kramer, run the video.
Do not want Jasmine Crockett because her melanin is popping too much. They do not want her. They want the white boy. Yeah. Wouldn't you know it? Tried to tell you. They want the white boy, James Tallarico. Now, here's the funny thing. The polls show that Jasmine is leading in popularity, but guess what? The Democratic Party does not care. They don't want you, little black girl. They don't want you, little black self. You're too dark for them. You are too dark for them. They want the white boy. Who would have known? Isn't that just something to tickle your funny bone, heart? Tried to tell you, knuckleheads, but you will not listen. You will not listen. So what they have done, the campaign headquarters responsible for putting out the ads have published bukus of ads portraying Jasmine to be almost blacker than midnight. Is that not a hoot? Is that not a hoot? When white liberals are racist, the last thing that they will cling to is a super dark black person. It's the truth anyhow. So, according to Jasmine, the campaign headquarters are publishing a bunch of ads portraying her as a super dark, super black woman, like Dewberry Blackberry woman. Like her skin is like super dark, super black. And what she is saying is she has been in law long enough to clearly understand what's going on here. It is to deter the white voters from voting for her. See, it's the same agenda that I told you guys about with Kamala and Barack, putting non-black people before the black community, filling their head with these ideas of intermingling within the black community. Kamala with her washing greens in the tub and fake Barry Sotero, Barack Obama being the cool, suave dude, even though he was a lover of little boys, and just being a cool dude and being so chill, where the black community would be so receptive of both, even considering Kamala didn't have an ounce of black in her, coming from a Indian and German lineage. But you can't tell you black folk nothing, because you know what? You got it all figured out, don't you? And you have absolutely nothing figured out. because nobody can tell you anything. You're so busy being on board with brainwash, media manipulating, lying, fake news, and nobody can tell you anything. I've been trying to tell you for the last 3 years that American news outlets have been bought out and are now under the control of the cabal. It has been like that for several decades. They report nothing unless the cabal approves it. Why do you think President Trump is having such a difficult time with them? Why do you think he does not fool with them altogether? As a matter of fact, when Jasmine got ready to present her story about being blackballed by the Democrat Party, guess what? None of the mainstream news media wanted to cover her story. CNN told her no. ABC told her no. CBS, NBC, Fox, BBC, Reuters told her no. Everybody told her no. You know why? Because they are under the payroll and the dictatorship of the cabal. You get it? They don't want you, girly girl. They don't want you. They say you're too blackity black. They call you a coon. You too black for them, sweetheart. Yeah, they call you a sellout. You're the coon. See, you guys are so busy calling anybody who does not support plantation owning Democrat Party a coon. You can't realize that you are the ones who are liberal butt kissing coons. Now they don't want you. Now they don't want anything to do with your little black selves. So now you don't have to take my word for it, sweetheart. Let's roll the tape and hear dear sweet Jazz tell you her very own sob story about being blackballed. Roll it.
The thing that is not normal is for me to be attacked from the left. That is the like new wild card in this scenario. And I see when they're sending out ads and they're darkening my skin, and I'm just like, I know what this is. Yes, I woke up a black woman. I was born a black woman. I know I'm a black woman for everybody that didn't think I didn't know.
Yes, we need a fighter. And I was so ready to vote for Jasmine Crockett because I love her. But I voted for Tallarico because we need somebody who can win. But I voted for Tallarico because we need somebody who can win. But I voted for Tallarico because we need somebody who can win.
There's this young state rep named Rico who was on there for a while back out of Texas.
Oh, that guy's good, right?
He's terrific. A really talented young man. And it does require a certain confidence in your actual convictions to debate and have a conversation with somebody who disagrees with you on a whole bunch of stuff.
What makes him so good, though? Because there is something grounded about him that you had it too.
I you know what? So in our foundation, a lot of the work that I do is working with young civic leaders, political leaders, journalists, human rights lawyers, not just here in the United States, but around the world. And one of the first things I say to them is, know what you really believe.
Right.
I think a guy like him, his starting point is, let me say what I believe. I think now more than ever, what people long for, and the word authenticity gets overused, I think. What people long for is some core integrity that seems absent. Just a sense that, the person seems to walk the walk, doesn't just talk the talk.
I knew that this bullshit would start up about Texas. I just saw a black man, a former mutual, because I unfollowed and blocked him, and he made an entire long-winded video showing statistics indicating that Black American voters in Texas let Jasmine Crockett down because Black American voters in Texas just don't go out to vote. And we know that that is bullshit. Jasmine herself was screaming for months about the voter suppression that is going on in Texas, targeting Black communities. Her very seat was gerrymandered out by the Republicans so that come January 2027, when her term ends, she will be out of Congress. And she will not hold an elected position unless she runs for public office again. But oh no, we're going to now change the narrative and blame Black American voters in Texas for Jasmine Crockett not winning. Y'all can go to hell and kiss my ass on the way. And you've got a lot of folk that Harriet would have left behind going, yeah, that's what it is. Black people just don't vote. I remember videos and reading comments from people who tried to vote in Texas and they couldn't for numerous reasons, including waiting in line for hours. And when they finally get to the polling station, the polls are closed and they were not allowed to vote. Y'all can go to hell with that. But this is just further confirmation about how we Black Americans collectively are feeling. All of these people talking about take emotion out of it. We are taking emotion out of it. We are exiting this toxic, abusive relationship. Y'all be careful out here.
I just want to be clear. There's a lot that took place specifically in Dallas County. I'm sure you've been watching the returns, and none of the returns out of Dallas County are quite in yet. Dallas County should have the second largest voter participation of any county in this state. We don't have any of the results because there was a lot of confusion today. And so, you know, our Democratic Party chair, Cardall Coleman, he beat me to the punch, as myself and Colin Allred. We're about to file a lawsuit to keep the voting polls open. We were able to keep the polls open, but I can tell you now that people have been disenfranchised. The reason that we knew that there were problems is because we were receiving the phone calls and the emails. The polls were supposed to stay open until 9, according to a court order. The Supreme Court, just a few minutes ago, just said, shut it down. The Supreme Court also said that they are to separate any votes out that came in after 7 p.m. So here's the deal. I have no idea how it is that clerks are going to know who was in line by what time, because the rule is that if you're in line by 7, then you get to vote. And so once there was a court order saying you had until 9, I'm sure that there were people that joined the line after 7. They now are telling them that you have to separate the votes out. What this means is that we will not know what votes are to be tallied from Election Day out of Dallas County. For sure, we won't know that tonight. So knowing that Dallas County is a big dump of votes, we, in my opinion, will not know the election results overall tonight. We need to see the Dallas County votes to see where they are. I mean, if the early vote comes in, which we may have the early vote soon, if it comes in and I'm losing Dallas County, then we know kind of where this thing is going. So, so that's my news, is that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. I just want to be clear.
So, brothers and sisters.
So that's my news.
And with that, brothers and sisters, we now come to the close. The boy, time flies. We ain't even get to cover what I really, other issues I want to cover, but this is more than enough. What? You've now been given a full 3 hours of uncompromising, unflinching, Lion's Den conversation. It's going to continue, y'all. Don't panic. Some of y'all couldn't hang out with us tonight, or you might just felt this felt good about listening only. That's fine. Some of y'all are going to catch the replay. That's a good thing too. But hit the like, hit the subscribe button. That's free. Give Lady Karima the 7th Answer to stars and all that good stuff to get our numbers up. Okay? But we thank you for allowing us to come into your mind, soul, and cipher. And you see that we have given you the full reason why Jasmine Crockett lost. Wasn't about her being no ghetto or ratchet or weave or whatever. Come on, man. She lost clearly because too black, too strong. Okay? It's just that simple. And 7th Answer, do you have any parting shots?
Please hit the like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Share the information and do rewind if you haven't been here from the beginning.
Yes, that's correct. And know that we love you. And that we dedicate our time, energy when y'all sleeping and you out here doing what you do. We dedicate and sacrifice ourselves, as the Bible says, Romans 12:1. I bid that you 13:1. Present yourself for the living sacrifice. We jump out here, research, cross-reference. We sit down, vibe, click, politic, orchestrate and choreograph these shows that we present to give you nothing but the facts. That's frequently accurate, correct truths. That's what we do, and we're going to keep on doing that. As always, we give honor to the Lord and Christ, from whom all positive thoughts flow. Okay? And imparting it, as always, in this beautiful spirit of Don Cornelius on the Hebrew tip, we here are going to say, Shalom, maintain your peace. Ahab, because what we do is a labor of love. And the Posh, watch and protect your soul. And we are up out of here.
Mockingbird to control the narrative. CIA infiltration, media manipulation, so elaborate. Targeting black communities, tearing down our pride. Attacking our women, our men, our history, our stride. From education to entertainment, they're trying to erase our legacy, our culture, our very own pace. Took our men out of schools, put them in the jail system. Left our women handling bills with no emotion, no support. It's a scheme. They destroyed our museums, took away our history, trying to make us forget our ancestors' legacy. But we won't be silenced. We'll rise above. We'll reclaim our narrative, our truth, our love. Operation Mockingbird, a web of deceit, manipulating minds, our communities to be. But we're waking up, seeing the truth. Our voice is loud, our resistance in you. They took Michael Jordan, tried to make him a joke. Tried to erase our greatness, our cultural stroke. But we're still standing, our history won't fade. We'll keep it alive, our legacy won't be erased. From civil rights to black power, our struggle's real. They tried to silence us, but our voices are still. community colleges, they try to dismantle. But we're building our own with knowledge and with battle. Epstein's files, they're trying to distract. Keep the focus off the truth, our people's contract. They're trying to hide their plan to destroy our communities, our families, our girls, our boys. But we won't be fooled. We'll keep it real. We'll expose the truth. We'll make it feel. Our resistance is growing. Our voices are loud. We'll take back our narrative. We'll break the mold. Black people ain't the ones trying to take Jordan down. He's clean, but Epstein's files are wearing the crown. It's a distraction, trying to shift the blame. Keeping the focus off the Epstein game. Operation Mockingbird, a web of deceit. Manipulating minds, our communities to be. But we're waking up, seeing the truth. Our voice is loud, our resistance in you. Blue shadows fall, the mockingbird sings. CIA whispers, media wings. Spreading lies, controlling minds. Targeting communities, leaving scars behind. Operation Mockingbird aimed at the core. Black communities hit, Panthers on the floor. FBI informants sowing discord and fear. COINTELPRO tactics wending clear. They infiltrated, they manipulated our game. Use our own brothers to bring us pain. The Black Panthers targeted leaders in chains. Fred Hampton murdered his dreams in vain. Media distortion twisted the truth, portrayed us as thrifts, fueled the youth, took our message of power, turned it to rage, left our communities fractured in a cage. Culture experiments, mind control games, used our people like pawns in their flames. They wanted us broken, divided and weak, but our spirit remains, our voices won't speak. From Chicago to LA, the struggle's real. They tried to silence us, but our message will prevail. The mockingbird song won't be the end.